Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 250,000 subscribers. Now we're like 7,500 shy, so hit subscribe, share, watch, do what you need to do because it's important that you're in the know, especially as more and more is transpiring every single day. Including this morning, Justin Trudeau, Canada's Prime Minister, resigned. And we need to talk about it, because it affects the United States of America as well. Now, I want to first show you a clip from his press conference, and then we're going to get into what the resignation actually means. Play the clip.
I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians. I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
First of all, it's a very honorable thing. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Trudeau has been Prime Minister for 9 years now. Maybe not the wrong time to step down. What I can tell you, having family, half my family resides in Canada, in Toronto, and they're constantly talking about how bad taxes are there and that things are not getting better for the average Canadian. And so, yeah, I understand that they're having internal fightings going on in their cabinet. Is it any different than what's going on here in the United States when you see the distinction between Republican and Democrats? How does anything get done when everything is a battle, a battle, a battle? There's no bipartisanship. There's no cooperation between the two groups. And I suspect that unless we get our shit together, and very, very soon, like really soon, I suspect that we're going to have the same sort of problem. You see, our leaders, they don't step down. Right? I mean, no president is ever going to step down from the country unless, of course, forced to, as Richard Nixon was. But what happens is they become lame ducks, meaning they can't accomplish anything. And then what happens? We suffer, the American people. Now, I want to also be clear here, as Trudeau was saying, he will remain as Prime Minister in a caretaker capacity until a new leader has been chosen. And I want to show you as part of an article explaining that Parliament will be suspended until this new leader is found. Here's what it says. Canadian Parliament will be suspended while new leader is chosen. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said that the country's Parliament will be suspended until March 24th while a new leader is chosen. Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. This morning, I advised the Governor General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. All right, let me also turn around and say to you that it's, in essence, the shutting down of their government, the same way it would be like if our Congress shut down. I think this is very, very bad. And my hope is that the Canadian people end up finding who the replacement for Justin Trudeau is, somebody who is going to be, tough on behalf of their country. Remember that we've now seen Trump basically walk all over Trudeau. He's disparaged him, he's denigrated him, turned around and said that Canada should be annexed to the United States of America, should be considered the 51st state, and that Prime Minister Trudeau, he will make him Canada's governor, right? He talks about the tariffs that they intend to impose with a 25% tariff on Canadian goods coming into America. The big three in Canadian goods: oil, which includes gas, lumber, and aluminum. You put a 25% tariff on that. Remember what happened in 2017. Trump attempted to do that. And after a very short period of time, like really short, when it was ultimately determined that that would have a negative, it would have a deleterious effect upon the trade and commerce and the cost of goods in America. You remember what Trump did? He gave him a waiver. Nothing there. Okay, there's a tariff, but we're not going to collect it. We're going to waive it because it was the right thing to do for the American consumer. Now, during this press conference, Trudeau turns around and says that he regretted one thing during his time as Prime Minister. Here's what he says. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that he has one regret as he announced he intends to resign, and that is the country's election process. If I have one regret, particularly as we approach this election, well, probably many regrets that I will think of, Trudeau said, but I do wish we've been able to change the way we elect our governments in this country so that people could simply choose a second choice or a third choice on the same ballot. My friends, let me tell you what he's talking about. He's talking about choice ballots. And we do have that here in the United States in a couple of places. We don't have it on a national scale, meaning, let's assume that you need to find who's going to be the next prime minister. And that individual doesn't get a plurality. But if you had choice voting where X number of people ranked him second or third, then there's a chance that you could immediately have a new prime minister based upon that. You see, if your first choice loses, then it goes to your second choice voting. And it's an interesting way. It's not a way, obviously, that our founding fathers made a determination, but it is certainly something that is of interest even here in the United States. I kind of like the idea. We're using it in smaller and lower ballots at the moment in certain locations in the United States, but to try to figure out how to create something like that on for a general election, for a national election, I think it's extremely, extremely easy. And I think it could be very beneficial, to be very honest with you, because our election process, I also think, is very, very flawed. And with that, my friends, we now see other countries going through a lot of the same similar problems that we're going through here. How their prime minister, equal to our president, reacts, obviously very different than what we have here. But nevertheless, it's a choice that's being made by this individual, by Justin Trudeau, for the benefit of his country. And for that, we should really show him a lot of respect. And as always, thanks for listening.
Hey everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.